Köszöntöm Önöket! Hamarosan megkezdjük soron következő webinárunkat. A webinár szabályai a szokásosak, az Önök mikrofonjai el vannak némítva, viszont a chat-ablakon keresztül szeretettel várjuk az esetleges kérdéseiket, amiket vagy a webinár végén, vagy pedig direktben válaszoljuk majd meg Önöknek. Vágjunk is bele! Szeretettel köszöntöm Önöket újfent, Németh Tamás vagyok, a Kozmo magyarországi kereskedelmi vezetője. A mai egy ritka és rendkívüli webinár alkalom lesz. Ezúttal kétnyelvű webinárt fogunk tartani Önöknek, mégpedig azért, mert van egy olyan termékportfólió elemünk, aminek a kompetencia központja Németországban található. Ez a Life Sciences kompetencia központ, ami egy összefoglaló név, de azt gondolom, hogy Önök közül nagyon sokak számára egy ismert fogalmat rejt magában. Minden olyan kritikusan szabályozott iparágat foglalja magába, ahol olyan egyedi iparági szabályozó előírásainak kell megfelelni, ami nem egy átlagos vállalati alkalmazás bevezetését feltételezi, hanem annál szigorúbb szabályoknak megfelelő megoldásokat kell ezeknél alkalmazni, akár gyógyszeripar, élelmiszeripar bizonyos szegmensei, vagy vegyiparról legyen szó, gyakorlatilag egy kicsit ilyen értelemben iparág független, de természetesen néhány determinált iparágban nagyon jellemző igényekről beszélünk. Az, hogy ezeknek hogyan felelünk meg, az számos módon történhet. A mai alkalommal egy olyan megoldást fogunk mutatni Önöknek, ami az ERP megoldáson, vagyis a vállalatirányítási rendszer megoldáson belül képes lefedni nagyon sok ilyen erős szabályozást igénylő iparág igényeit, és ebben Andi Buchmann német kollégánk lesz a segítségükre, aki a Life Sciences kompetencia központunknak a cégvezetője, hogy egy kicsit árnyaljuk, hogy milyen megoldások állnak rendelkezésre a Kozmo Consult portfóliójából Microsoft Dynamics alapokon. Andy angol nyelven fogja prezentálni ezeket a megoldásokat, és nem csak elméletben, hanem gyakorlatban is betekintést fog nyújtani ezekbe. Hogy is fog kinézni a mai webinár? Az én rövid köszöntőmet, illetve cégbemutatómat követően Andy felvezeti, hogy elméleti szinten egyáltalán mire, vagy milyen területekre alkalmas ez a megoldás portfólió, majd bemutatja magát a portfóliót, utána pedig egész konkrét példákon keresztül fog mutatni rendszermegoldásokat, és természetesen, ahogy említettem, várjuk ezek végén a kérdéseiket. Vágjunk is bele, részemről csak egy nagyon rövid háttér erejéig. A Kozmo Consult egy nemzetközi, kifejezetten Microsoft vállalati alkalmazásokkal foglalkozó cégcsoport, és nem véletlen, hogy most két nyelven, két országból prezentáljuk a webinárt, hiszen nagyon szorosan működünk együtt egymással, és bizonyos kompetenciák nálunk, más kompetenciák Németországban, egyéb kompetenciák Ausztriában, vagy egyéb országokban találhatóak meg, viszont ez nem jelenti azt, hogy nem tudunk ezek mellé helyi nyelven és helyi kompetenciákkal is szolgáltatást nyújtani, viszont maguk a termékek menedzsmentje az földrajzilag eltérő helyen történik, és ezeknek a továbbfejlesztése is az adott országokban történik, ilyen például a Life Sciences megoldás csomagunk is. Amiben különbözünk talán másoktól az az, hogy kifejezetten és kizárólag Microsoft vállalati megoldásokat nyújtunk minden országban, ennek a területnek vagyunk a specialistái, ezért a lehető legmélyebben igyekszünk ezen belül, a portfólión belül megoldásokat is nyújtani. Magyarországon mintegy 150 fővel vagyunk jelen, és nem csak Budapesten, hanem Szegeden, Sopronban és Debrecenben érhetnek el bennünket. A nagyon rövid felvezető után át is adnám a szót német kollégámnak. Andy, the stage is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Tamás, for the introduction into the webinar. Innovation is valued over traditions. This is a quote from Marianne Jannik. She's CEO of Microsoft Germany, and I would like to start with that quote into the webinar because, in my personal opinion, it's the same. I think that innovation must be more important than holding on to old traditions. And our life science, and before we dive into the webinar, I will give you a short overview over the agenda, what we have planned for today. We will start to talk about general challenges and regulatory challenges our life science customer facing with actual. And after that, we will go directly into the brief overview on a holistic view for the life science solution portfolio of Cosmo Consult. I will give you examples for some functional highlights, which are very important in our project and our experiences today. And we will also see a live small demo scenario, how we can show you the integration of quality assurance processes based on a warehouse receipt process. And after that, we will talk about the role of the quality management, and also I will follow up also with a short process scenario in a live demo, how we can document quality management incidents, for example, to document a deviation, which will happen somewhere in an ERP process. And at the end, of course, very important, we need to talk about the computer software validation topics. You know that every critical system or environment needs to be qualified and validated by yourself. And I will show you how we can help you and how we can take you by hand to lead you through those kind of validation processes. Yeah, let's talk about some of the global requirements or also challenges our customers are facing with. And these challenges lead you in a situation that you always need to make some constant adjustments or changes regarding those kind of challenges. What you know exactly is that that you have, on the one hand, the regulation side, the compliance side. You are facing international regulations like the MDR or IVDR, or if you are on the American market, you need to follow the compliance standards from the CFR rules. And this is something what, of course, affect our IT infrastructure and also our application environments. And we as Cosmo Consult, as a software vendor, needs to be compliant also in some cases with that. And we need to provide you solutions which you can use to be compliant with those kind of regulations. We will come to that point on the later stage in the webinar, but this is one of the main, of course, challenges you need to handle. Other things is, of course, if you're using cloud technology or if you are using other kind of digitalization applications, it is helpful to optimize your business, and you need to be more digital as in the past, of course, and you need to be innovative to be successful in future. And this also will challenge you, especially when it comes to compliance, and you already know to be in the cloud environment will bring you other kind of things what you needs to think about when you realize those kind of innovation and digitalization processes. Not only for the validation aspects, also with data security and other stuffs. Your companies, of course, always follow strategy goals to be successful in future. Also, this kind of goals brings you in a situation where you need to make adjustments or changes. Maybe you want to develop new products or you want to enter new markets. You need to be prepared for this, and you need to have a scalable and flexible IT infrastructure in-house. Also, global forces are something what you need to take care of. Maybe when a new competitor comes on the market and forces you, you need to handle with it, you need to deal with it, and maybe not need to find new strategies to be successful in future. If you are in an order-related environment, or if you are working in customer individual requirement areas, with individual products for customers, and of course the customer requirements force you a lot and bring you in a situation where you need to be very flexible and where you need to be fast in the reactions of changing requirements from your customers. And of course, in that kind of industry, in the life science industry, the quality management department plays a big role, and quality management processes, from our perspective, needs to be as much as integrated as possible. And this leads you also in the situation that all the resources you need to deal with needs to be in an optimized stage. So it depends on price strategies on the market, higher prices, lower prices. It needs to be capacity topics, material requirement topics. All the resources you need to handle your business should be in an optimized way. I want to dive deeper in the kind of regulatory topics, because your regulatory requirements are also the regulatory requirements for us as a software vendor, because our goal is to support you with solutions and platforms which brings you in the situation to stay compliant in the future with those kind of regulations. Because for you, of course, the product safety, patient safety, and also data integrity plays a big role. And we as Cosmo Consult try to create solutions and deliver solutions and implement them with thinking of those kind of regulations. It could be EU regulations, of course, like MDR or IVDR, but also when you have complex label requirements, you need to fulfill label requirements for your customers and your products, which follow MDR rules. And it is our task to offer you a solution where you can configure labels and where you can ensure the quality of those kind of labels and the safety standards behind. For us, data protection and security is very important as much as for you. And of course, we are able to provide you solutions in a cloud environment where those kind of protection and security requirements can be fulfilled perfectly. I already talked about the role of quality management, and also for us, it's important to offer you a comprehensive quality management solution which you can use to follow the ISO norms, or maybe also the CFR Part 820 rules when you are on the American market. So you will see that later in the webinar, how we integrate quality management processes in our solution environment. All the ERP processes which are around quality assurance, maybe also production or manufacturing, need to follow GXP requirements, GMP and also GDP when it comes to logistics or distribution topics. And for us, it's of course it's normal to think about those kind of GXP processes, to have them in mind, and to implement them in a perfect way for you. For us, the full traceability regarding lot or serial number traceability is very important, and the solution portfolio of Cosmo Consult is able to deliver you or to provide you a full traceability for lot or serial number tracked materials. Risk management as a process is already implemented in our implementation methodology and also in the software validation concept. And of course, our services, what we will see later, will support you with qualification and validation processes and also documentations from the vendor side. So what this slide means is that your requirements in the regulatory area are also our requirements, and we try to provide you a full portfolio which brings you in the situation to be compliant. Yeah, so I already mentioned it, the life science solution portfolio. We will start now and have a quick overview in the solution portfolio, and then after that we will go into a small, process live in a demo scenario. When customers come to us and wants to have a digitalization process or wants to realize a digitalization process, they don't require only an ERP system anymore. Maybe it was in the past in that way, but now in actual, our customers require a full stack of an end-to-end ecosystem. It's not around only ERP, it is more than that. It is ERP, it is a specific ERP direction. So if they require a solution from us, it should be modified, or it should be a best practice model for the industry. In that case, it should be individual for life science industry, for pharmaceutical and medtech industry. Because our customers, especially when they want to drive their ecosystem in a modern cloud scenario, then it is necessary to bring a best practice solution in place. It's not common or not used anymore to individualize those kind of solutions in every project again. So we are able to, we need to deliver a best practice approach into the market, and that is possible when we have an industry-specific solution for this. And the same is for quality management. You see that it should be integrated in the whole ecosystem, and also should be maintained the requirements of the specific markets. And that's of course also with CRM system, and also our customers requires very often the data science reporting, BI, or maybe artificial intelligence topics. And they often require a cloud-based environment, or maybe a private cloud-based environment. And at the end, when we deliver those kinds of ecosystem, we should have also the specific services around qualification and validation in place. For us, it is normal to deliver a whole kind of portfolio, not only one solution. But what is also for us is, what drives us is, we want to offer you a process-driven solution. So for us, it's important that you as a customer can fulfill your processes with every device from every place on the world, every time or any time. And it should be as most smoothly as we can. We want to prevent jumps between different applications. We want to fulfill the process in a smooth way. So this, so we want to prevent strong interfaces. It should be it needs to be more a cloud-based solution at the end, and then we are able to give you a fully integrated, smoothly integrated ecosystem on the hand. How it is built, this kind of solutions. This is a slide which structures the different components of the solution. This is a typical scenario for a medtech or maybe a pharmaceutical customer. It is based, of course, on Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central. This is a layer in the ground. And Microsoft delivers a standard solution off the shelf, which contains a lot of strong and competitive functionalities in the areas of purchase, sales, warehouse, production, finance, and so on. And based on this standard solution from Microsoft, Cosmo Consult delivered the life science manufacturing pack as an industry-specific solution for the life science market. And it contains different kind of manufacturing functionality regarding process manufacturing, discrete manufacturing, but also project-driven manufacturing. And then based on that, there are a lot of components and modules in the standard pack. It is something around product data management. It is a calculation module in the text module, of course, and very important that you have a quality assurance module in the standard in place, a vendor rating module, and also for regulatory approvals, the regulatory affairs module. And then you are able to choose, it depends a little bit from the requirement side and from your process requirements. It depends which additional apps you can use in that kind of portfolio. Of course, what in the medtech environment is important is the unique device identification module, where we fulfill the MDR requirements for UDI. The DMS as a document management system is very common and used in a lot of our customers. And then, of course, when you have comprehensive logistic requirements, you can use our logistic module for this. And also in the manufacturing side, a data capture module for capturing running times for different kind of routings and so on. Yeah, and on the right side, you see the big pillar for the Cosmo quality management pack. This is a this is a quality management solution which is connected with the ERP solution. I will show you later a small demo scenario how we can use this. So it is a best practice approach for you with a possibility to be a little bit more flexible and also scalable. It depends a little bit from your requirements and your processes, which should be in scope of your project. To talk about some of the highlights. It's not all of this, it's only some of the highlights, but I want to talk about this because you should have a good overview over this. The highlights are separate, are divided here in some manufacturing highlights and also in quality assurance highlights and of course some regulatory highlights. But let's start with it. For example, what I mentioned before is when we look on the manufacturing side, with using that best practice approach or with using the life science manufacturing pack, you are able to handle process-oriented manufacturing requirements, but you are also able to handle the order-related manufacturing or the order-related manufacturing requirements. So it doesn't matter if you have a bill of material structure in your material or if you use maybe receipts. It could be both, of course, in the same time. And this solution can be handled both of the things. And also the project-driven things when you are in a research and development area and you start to design your products on a project level, then of course you can use a project-driven structure and then hand over into a bill of material structure or also in a receipt structure. What is also important in our industry is that we have, when we design new products, that we can fulfill some product data management functionality or maybe also CAD integration and connection if you have a PLM system in place or a PDM system in place, that we can handle those kind of requirements also. In some kinds of our customers or some of our customers are using a product and variant configurator logic so that you are able to configure your sales order directly when you enter the sales order. You have a master list, a master configuration behind, and you configure your order at the end and calculate it. So this is also integrated in the standard pack of the solution. Let's talk about a bit over some regulatory things. The standard of Microsoft Business Central allows you to have an audit trail in the system. We define together in the implementation process which kind of table should be logged, which field should be logged. This is configurable by yourself. We are helping you with the standard configuration, what we provide you when we implement the software, and then you can monitor those kind of audit trail things. Every table and every field can be logged and can be monitored, and we normally focus on the critical ones. Very important is, of course, the integrated lot and serial number management, also container number management, and the full traceability behind it. And it should be, it is totally integrated, and you are able to press a button and get full traceability out of the system in case of a recall, for example, or in case you need to inform customers or something like this when something happened in the lot, on the lot level. Regarding this lot and serial information, it's not only a number, there is a status behind, and there's some information behind this lot data. For example, there is a status, and with that status, we are able to handle the posting restrictions. So it brings you in a situation, maybe you have a blocked lot information in the warehouse. You are not allowed to send it to customers. It should be blocked by the system. And those kind of restrictions can be set up and configured in the system by yourself. And this leads us and brings us into the situation to offer you a very comprehensive standard solution. And regarding this, or behind this standard solution, you are able to configure your own process restrictions based on the lot status. And this makes you very flexible in the handling of restriction and processes in the whole supply chain management. If it is necessary, especially when you're on the market in the US market, and you need to fulfill the 21 CFR Part 11 requirements, then you are able to use our regulatory affairs module, where you can set up comprehensive workflows for this, which offer you a solution to have I call it a 4I principle behind this, that you can approve different kind of processes based on a specific user authentication and password methodology. It's not only approval by pressing a button. You need to have a signature in place, and you can handle this in the standard of the solution. If you have products which are registered in different markets, you can use the sales restrictions in the sales area, that you can prevent that a not registered item can be sold in the market where it is not released for. And also very important is the document and drawing management and the revision management. You can use it, for example, when you have PDM requirements, that you have a specific drawing number for your customer, and this drawing number has a valid version, and this valid version is integrated in the bill of material, and the system needs to prevent a not valid version to deal with it, or something like this. So there is a comprehensive solution in place in the standard, where you can handle the revision and the drawing management behind item data. Of course, the vendor rating is in place, and vendor item approval scenarios. This is normal for us in that kind of industries to offer those kind of functionality. And on the quality side, there are also different things which the software, or different functionalities the software offers you. First of all, a quality control application is totally integrated in the ERP system, from the warehouse receipt to the customer complaint, overproduction things or processes. Quality is always with you, and is an accompanying test order based and inspection plan routine in the system. This is the one side, and the other side, of course, I already mentioned it, is a comprehensive quality management processes which are connected to the ERP. And this brings you in the situation that you have an incident management in place, what you always can use from different kind of process. And in the ERP side, you can start an incident in the quality management, and then you are able to document kind of deviation, complaints, or something like this, or you can handle a complex kappa process directly in the QMS system connected to a ERP. It is a workflow-based solutions, and you are also able to handle your document control processes. If, for example, you need to store some SOP information, you need to control the SOP documents, you need to approve them and to review them, and this kind of control processes is of course part of the QMS solution, and also the UDI. When you are in a medtech environment, the UDI requirements can be handled with the UDI module. So it's a mix of different kind of functionality in the specific industry solutions, but it will help you to fulfill a lot of requirements from the regulatory side. This is only a slide for some highlights. Of course, in the software itself, it's much more than this. Yeah, now it's part for a small demo scenario. You will see now a quality assurance scenario. It's a very simple one from the warehouse and logistic area. We will have a process, and we will jump into the quality assurance area. And what we see is that we will have, based on the warehouse receipt document, we will post the warehouse receipt into our warehouse, and then we will go directly into an inspection order, which is created by the system automatically. And after the inspection order is done, we need to decide what to do with the lot information. And for that, I will switch into Business Central. Here it is. This is a Business Central, Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central as an ERP system. And there is now the role center from quality management department or quality assurance department. At the moment, we will start with a purchase order first, then we have the warehouse receipt, and then we come back to the row center of the quality assurance employee. Let's go directly from here to the purchase order side. And I prepared purchase order for today in advance. That was done by the purchase department. Let's have a quick view into the purchase order. This is a Chinese vendor in the purchase order, and he deliver us some silicon Rollens contact lenses. It is a blank contact lens as a raw material in a quantity of 300 pieces, what we get into the warehouse. And behind this, of course, there are some lot information, what we get in the warehouse. We can see it later in the next step. So, or maybe we can add it here directly, the item tracking information. There is a lot information behind. This is a lot number 44 for this 300 pieces coming from a Chinese vendor. And now what I will do is now I post the contact lenses directly in the location code. I receive the material, and with receiving this material, something should be done in the quality assurance area, and that is what we see after this. Let's post the material receipt. The system is generating now in the background based on an inspection plan. It's generating an inspection order, and this inspection order will be hopefully seen in our row center. There it is. What you see now is that this inspection order or test order is created by the system. Let's go directly into this. This is inspection order number 8, and what we see here is it is created for this item. This is a rolling. This is a blank contact lens, what we saw before, and there is a test plan as a basis behind in a specific test plan version. So this is normally something what is master data setup, create test plans, and in the test plan it is created that we have a visual inspection first, and after this we have an analysis over the contact lenses blank. And what you also see that this inspection order is directly connected to the specific purchase receipt with a specific number, and it is related, of course, to the lot information what we assigned before. This is necessary to have later a track and trace functionality on board. Yeah, let's start with this. At the moment, it's in a status of created. I release now this inspection order, and then it should be out of our list. And when I update my row center, then we see that now we have 2 ongoing test orders. Let's go directly in it. This was the last one. The status changed from created to released, and in the release state we are able to capture the actual values. Let's do it directly from here. The value recording. What you see here is that we have different kind of properties in the test plan. We should use the identity. We should give them a value for the color, for the packaging conditions, for the water concentration and the lens type. What you also see that we have different kind of criteria or results for the criteria. Some are maybe okay or not okay values. Some are in percent, and some have tolerances, some not. It's also something what we can use directly. So let's do this value recording now. So I start with the first one. It is, in my case, it's okay. I do it now for all the values that we have in result. It is blank. That should be okay. It's around, here I need to enter decimal value. Let's see, 90% water concentration, and the lens type is neutral, and the oxygen permeability is maybe 65. So this is now, it's done. So our test order is fulfilled. It is not in this table anymore. So, and at the moment, we have this test order created, we have released it, we have all the actual values in it, and now hopefully we can close the test order and finish it. Let's close it. And what we see is with the warehouse receipt posting process, let's have a view in the inventory overview, because then we can see it. With sending the 300 or 400 pieces, the system directly posts this material into a state of a quarantine. It's a quarantine state. It's not released at the moment. The lot number is not released. We created the test order, we fulfilled the actual values, but at the end we need to have a test decision. And the test decision is based on the status. What we need to do is to say if it is now released or maybe blocked or maybe conditional blocked or something like this. Because regarding this status, the different kind of process restrictions comes into place. And this is important now to finish the test order first, and after that we need to do the test decision. I will do it directly from here. I go into the lot and serial number administration page. This is normally the page where the quality assurance staff is working with. And I will do the test decision for the whole lot. We can also do it for a partial lot. We can, of course, handle expiration date and all that stuff. But I will focus in this kind of demo only for the status. And the status is now from quarantine into the release state. Let's post this status change, and then we have 300 pieces of a release lot for this number in the inventory. I also can add a comment. Sometimes maybe it should be used to add a comment. In my example, I spared it. But what I want to say to this number and serial number administration page is also that when you have those kind of status change on the lot level, of course, now this is a good point to integrate an electronic signature which is conform or compliant to Part 11 CF 21. So it is done. My lot with 300 pieces is in the state of release in the warehouse in a specific bin. That was the short example for how we can work from a warehouse receipt process where a purchase order was initiate beginning, and then we had the warehouse receipt for 300 pieces of the contact lenses. It was posted into the warehouse in the state of quarantine. The inspection order was created by the system automatically. We released the inspection order, we fulfilled all the values in it, and after that we have done the usage decision. Usage decision based on the lot. And then, of course, the process restrictions decides what we can do with the release lot or what we maybe cannot do with those kind of information. Yeah, this was one of the examples how quality management, quality control processes are integrated. And this is this integration is not only for purchase orders, for manufacturing order, in process controls. You can have it on the sales side, you can have it on the warehouse side when you do warehouse-driven processes, testings, or so on. There's a lot of more functionality in place. But another agenda point was to talk about the ERP meets quality management stack. Quality management, I already mentioned, is very important for you, and it is should be mostly integrated in the whole environment and ecosystem. But why is quality management so important? Of course, with changing the international regulations, quality management also in the MDR comes more on the table than in the past. You as a life science customer needs to fulfill quality management in a perfect way. And hopefully, that's our wish, of course, you should do it as much digital as you can. And if you want to do it digital, of course, you need a good solution in place, which is hopefully integrated in that ecosystem. Quality management plays also a big role now, because when you think about cloud solutions and using your ecosystem in the cloud, then you give the responsibility of critical activities, for example, backup and recovery, data security. The control of the system is up to your vendor. You give them the responsibility for managing your environment. And for this, quality management is very important because you need, in that case, a vendor you can qualify for this kind of activities. You need to have a strong partnership to your software vendor, and a long-time partnership, because you give them the control over your system. This is also on the other side, when you are thinking about cloud environments, one of the things why quality management is so important, and much more important than maybe in the past. Another topic is that we need to connect the quality management topics with the ERP process side. And this is what we exactly do with the life science ecosystem from Cosmo Consult. You see that in the layer here is the quality management solution. And in the quality management solution, on the one side, we handle the document control processes. For example, the document creation of a standard operation procedures, the versioning behind, the change control, of course, the document releases, and also the training. This is important. Oh, sorry. This is important. And also, of course, after that, the document publishing. This is a document control side. On the other side, there is a big functionality in place for handling all the kind of quality incidents. And the quality incident can be a complaint. It can be, of course, a change request. It can be an out of spec scenario, for example, an inspection order. It can be a deviation which leads into kappa process at the end. We need to fulfill audit management processes, contract management, vendor qualification processes, all that stuff. This is typically done in the quality management solution, but in a lot of processes, it needs to be connected to the ERP and the process side. And you can only connect this when you have a digital solution in place. When you are paper-based, when you have a paper-based quality management solution, of course, it works for the external view, but it is not connected, of course, to the ERP solution, and it's not connected with data. And that is our view on this topic. Is we want to give you a portfolio where the ERP process side and the manufacturing processes, and of course the supply chain management processes, are deeply connected to the quality documentation and the quality incident processes. And this is, for example, for example, what we can do is what we have done in, what we have done is first we had done a warehouse receipt process, then the lots came in the system, then we created an inspection order, and after this we have done the lot decision, the lot management. And when you now, for example, this inspection order, maybe the actual values were not in tolerance, then of course you can directly create an incident for it with a deviation, and the deviation can lead into kappa process. That can be done automatically by the system. That could be a full process. For the live scenario now, I have a little bit simplified scenario. We have an inspection order as a base. Of course, the input for our quality management is then the inspection order in the ERP system with all the ERP data. Something happens and we want to create directly a deviation out of this ERP process, and then we want to handle the deviation. And for that, let's jump into Business Central again. So we will start on the ERP side. We have finished inspection orders in place, or maybe ongoing ones, doesn't matter. Maybe here's a finished one, and we want to create directly an incident. We can do that directly here from the ERP side. We start the workflow, what we want to do, and it should be an incident. It also can be a compliant, it can be a deviation, it could be everything. It doesn't matter because it's a workflow-based solution and a control solution. You can define templates for different kind of incidents. Maybe on the customer card you have a complaint template and behind an inspection order, maybe you have an out of tolerance scenario or something like this. So we start a new one. Oh, sorry. We start a new one, new incident based on the test order, and then the system opens, and this is a smooth integration. What you see here now, this is a pre-page from the quality management system. It is shown in the ERP system, and we create a deviation example. Can give them a short introduction or short description also, deviation. And then of course you can describe this deviation. And after this, the system knows exactly who created this, who was the user who reported this incident. We can give them some more classification information. It is now an internal incident. It could be when it is a complaint, of course, it could be external by the customer. And you can connect this incident with a parent one if necessary, but maybe not. And I will give him a first critical information. It is maybe an out of spec, and the first level criticality is, in my opinion, medium, because I report the incident and later the quality management employees should do the second level criticality. I don't want to have an audit for this, and I complete the report. Maybe I also can add a process owner as a responsibility. Let's do this on this stage. It is my colleague Joseph, and then I complete the report. And what the system is doing now, it creates this kind of incident directly in the QMS system. It got, of course, a workflow ID behind and connected this incident with the ERP data behind. And you can see this here. This was a deviation example, what we created before. And before there was an OS incident behind. And now we have this deviation example. Let's go directly into the deviation example. And now you jump into the QMS system where the incident was created directly today from my side or from myself. And you see there is a workflow behind how to handle those kinds of incidents. The incident is recorded by the system. The responsibility assignment should be done. Then we have a second classification and evaluation behind. And then, of course, we can start kind of measures. For example, corrective measures. We can add emergency measures when it is very critical, or maybe also preventive actions, which should be done with that kind of incident. Which is important is this was done out of ERP system. So when we will have a look in the ERP data side in this incident, we see exactly that was that test order. And this test order is based on a purchase receipt. The test order number is in the system, and also the lot information is in the system. In this incident, there are no measures because I didn't go on with it. But when we, for example, let's have a view on this incidents. There was another one, maybe the OS. This is also the kind of incident created by the ERP system. And there, for example, we have measures. And what you see here, there was a corrective measure. This is the root cause analysis, which should be done for this incident. And after this, some preventive actions. And what is important is, or what may be interesting to know, is that also the measures, not only the incident itself, which is connected to the measures, the measure itself is also a workflow solution behind. And this is a low-code, no-code application. You can configure your quality management processes with us together. It is not developing, it is configuring the workflows. And you have a fully audit trail behind. You have a versioning behind with a fully audit trail, and of course the logging behind. And you can add pictures, emails, documents, and all that stuff directly to the incident or to the measure until the time when it is done in the system. There's a task management behind. You see that I have 12 tasks, what I need to do. And of course, I can also jump directly back to the ERP system. There is a link behind. You can jump in the ERP system, and you are back in the Business Central area, directly on the data, which is behind. So that is how the system is connected. This kind of incidents can be recorded from every page in Business Central if necessary. So what we have done was in the quality management side, we started an ERP in the quality assurance test or inspection order. There was an out of tolerance scenario. We created the QM incident for it. There was a deviation, and then the deviation should be worked through in the QMS system, and after that maybe a result is given back to the ERP system. That's a way for a simple integration of quality management on one hand and ERP on the other hand. So, but what about computer software validation or computer system validation? This is also a very important topic when we implement software on your site. The computer system validation is necessary when your systems, for example, the ERP system is a critical system. Critical in that means that it has a direct impact on the product direct impact on the product quality or on the patient safety behind, or maybe it is an impact on data and credit integrity things. From Cosmo Consult, we offer you a specific software validation methodology. It is prepared with a validation toolkit where all the documentation is in, and we can offer you two models of or two methodologies how we can do it. In the past, a traditional way was that we have a waterfall implementation methodology in place, and then we follow the design steps with writing down the user requirement specification in an analysis step. Then we created the functional design specification, the technical ones. We developed something, of course, and then it comes to the testing activities. And we can, in the past, we followed the waterfall model in a clear structure. And now when we are using cloud solutions, we are operating in cloud environments, it changed a bit. And also the regulations changed in the last 2 years. And now the regulation is also able to give us a kind of manual how we can handle this in the cloud, and it is more agile now. There is an agile approach in it, and at the end it is more a computer software assurance approach. And it started very early with the selection of the vendor. So that is my advice for you: select a vendor and build a strong partnership with someone who is an expert in the industry and who is a long-time partner for you. And this is the starting point also for the software assurance approach. And then, of course, it is an ongoing approach. It's more agile, but the way how we do the validation, it's still the same in the background, but the focus is more changing. It's not the focus on documents. The focus is more on data, on paperless methodology. And at the end, the focus is very strong on the testing side for this. We offer you a comprehensive documentation toolkit behind. It is done electronically, so we do the implementation and the validation mainly paperless. We give you all the requirements from typical requirements from the industry with you, and then we go through the different kind of processes here. And what we do is we integrate the critical thinking in every stage of our methodology. We have a strong integration in our QMS system. So every release or approval of a documentation is handled digital in the QMS system. All the activities, what we do for validation, is handled in the QMS system, not as a paper. It is done directly digital. We follow an agile approach. It's up to you as a customer how agile we want to be. And our focus is, of course, on testing. It's not only unit testing or integration testing. It's the focus is more on user acceptance testing and the creation of test automations behind. So we focus on data instead of documents, and we use digital systems and tools for doing the implementation and validation. And this is how we support the computer software assurance approach, and also the computer system validation approach. It's at the end, it's still the same. We need to validate something, but we do it a little bit different in comparison to the past. And this is also where we say innovation needs to be more focused than tradition. So this was mainly the parts I wanted to talk to you in the webinar. We started with the challenges. We are focused on the high-level overview over the portfolio, what we can offer to you. From the ERP and QM side, we have seen two different scenarios in the system. As a demo scenario, first it was a quality assurance scenario integrated in the ERP, and then we had the QMS scenario where we have a connected interface between the ERP and the QMS solution. At the end, it's an integrated process. And after this, we talked a bit about this validation and software validation approach, what we can offer as Cosmo Consult. We at the team on Cosmo Consult and the life science team are very experienced over many years in this market. We use, of course, as a Cosmo Consult, a lot of innovation power when we create those kind of solutions. Microsoft is offering us standard tools and platforms behind, and gives you a lot of investment security, of course. And we are ISO 9001 certified. This is the way how we do our QMS, and we develop solutions for this. And at the end, the solution portfolio is an end-to-end ecosystem, not only ERP, not only QM. It could be also it could be also BI, artificial intelligence, CRM, and all that stuff in this ecosystem. And at the end, we develop some special services for this market regarding computer system validation, quality management, consulting, and of course the implementation processes. So I say from my side, thank you so much for participation, and I hand over again to Tamas, who do the closing of the webinar. Thank you so much.
Andi, nagyon szépen köszönöm a kiváló és mély előadást. Bízom benne, hogy a résztvevők számára is figyelemfelkeltő, vagy legalábbis gondolatébresztő volt az a sok rétű megoldás, illetve sokszínű megoldás, amit képesek vagyunk. Minőségbiztosítás, karantén, egyéb területeken nyújtani az ERP megoldásunk keretén belül. A szokásoknak megfelelően ilyenkor szokott következni a kérdések megválaszolása, amikből pillanatnyilag csak olyan érkezett, ami nagyon mély konzultációt igényel és válasz-specifikus, ezért ez alkalommal ez a rész elmarad, viszont direktben felvesszük a kérdezőkkel a kapcsolatot, és beszélgetünk a megfogalmazott kérdéseikről. Én nagyon szépen köszönöm Andy Buchmannnak még egyszer a felkészülést és az angol nyelvű előadást, önöknek a megjelenést. YouTube csatornánkon további hasonló, hasznos és tematikus tartalmakat lelhetnek. Látogassanak el hozzánk, hogyha bármelyik webinár kapcsán kérésük van, szívesen fogadjuk érdeklődésüket, és természetesen segítünk az egyes megoldásokba való további elmélyülésben. Várjuk Önöket a következő webinár alkalmunkon. Viszontlátásra!